Hello everybody, we're here today to celebrate with the Islamorada Chamber of Commerce. We're promoting our services and our programs. This is a great partnership and it's a beautiful day here in the Florida Keys. Thank you.
We have Sandi Bisceglia today. She's the incoming chair of the Monroe County Advisory Council for the Early Learning Coalition of Miami-Dade Monroe.
I think we have about 12 minutes or so for this, so if you have questions at the end, you can speak to some of our directors or to and executive members who I will be introducing again today. When I heard I was going to be scheduled to speak, I put the word out to many longtime community friends, and I'm delighted to see so many of you here. Thank you. Many school friends and school board member Sue Waltansky, and also, of course, our thanks to our mayor for attending today, Pete Batchelor, and Councilman Dave Webb. Thank you for coming. Some of our ELC representatives present in the audience today are Avilio Torres, if you could raise your hand again, please, who's our CEO, and the headquarters for the ELC is in Coral Gables. And also here with him is Angelo Perino, an executive team member as well. They both visit the Keys regularly to stay current on the needs of our 37 Keys Learning Centers. And annually, the ELC board rotates meetings in different parts of the Keys as well. Lisa Taylor is here, and she is serving as ex officio appointed by our superintendent of schools, Terry Axford. And this is spring break, which shows her dedication to the cause. Thank you, Lisa. And Sue Ellen Bennett is here, if you could raise her hand. She's here representing all of the Keys providers, and her center, of course, is nationally accredited at St. James here in Islamorada, which is church-based. And back in 1983, when I became a principal at PKS, Sue Ellen was there, and she ran what we called then the nursery school. And we were looking at the pictures together, and we still knew all the names of all the kids who were in it. They're all grown up now, of course. No PowerPoint today. The fishing club really doesn't lend itself to that. So you have in front of you a 3-page handout which shows the locations and contact numbers of all the centers, a map showing the 3 offices and their availability to talk to you, and an explanation of our programs for birth to 5-year-olds. And at the table at the door, when you leave, you can look at who's on our board, where the 30 coalitions are located in Florida, and frequently ask questions. If you want to take any of that home, you can. Our primary mission for being here today, as advertised, is that we are the workforce behind your workforce. We exist to support and provide high-quality learning services to the Keys' youngest children, our littlest learners. And also so that Keys parents and your employees may work full or part-time here in the Keys and be able to report to work comfortably. First, I'd like to recognize Judy Hull for a moment. Here's Judy. I came on this board during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, and Avilio, our CEO, asked me to help coordinate all of the Keys Chambers executive directors up and down the Keys to meet with us online during the pandemic so that we could continue to broadcast how we could keep employees continuing to place their children in care so they could keep working. And Judy Hull at the Islamorada Chamber helped us broker all of those Zoom meetings, and we're very grateful to her. Thank you.
Welcome.
And many do not know, for example, that throughout the pandemic, our ELC in Miami-Dade and Monroe fully funded 74 Keys first responders' children from April 2020 to March 2021, so they could return to their jobs and place their children in care. And Judy Hull helped us with that as well as Avilio Torres. So thank you for that. There are 30 such coalitions around the state of Florida. They were put in place by the Florida legislature. They are all taxpayer funded. So a 4-sentence history of what has happened through the legislature in Florida in regard to our youngest little learners. First, in 1999, the School Readiness Act was passed. for children aged birth to 5 and getting standards ready for them. In 2005, the voluntary pre-K program was passed and the formation of ELCs, they did not really exist before that, funded. In 2017, age-appropriate standards were developed through the legislature and the governor's office to mandate screenings for developmental milestones and learning assessments for young children in physical, social development, language, literacy, math, science, music, and art. And I just wanted to ask briefly, Sue Ellen Bennett, if you could just give us a sentence or two about what we mean by social standards.
Basically, we're trying to teach him to be civilized, to learn how to get along with each other, to share, to learn what it's like to be part of a group. So they're not used to that, even having siblings there. We try to do that so that they know how to get along with each other, also how to transition from one activity to the next, and how to just have fun and enjoy it and learn in the process.
Thank you so much. And of course, don't cut your hair with scissors while you're in school. In 2021, the legislature authorized Governor Ron DeSantis to create the Office of Early Learning to support all ELC centers and fund them more and also monitor accountability of kids. So the office then formulated goals, screenings, and learning assessments, and all of these learning coalition providers must comply with all these standards, as these sites are intended to be instructional, not just instructional, safe, learning play spaces. They're not just babysitting. The theme of all of them is learn early and learn for life. I now serve on the main board of the Early Learning Coalition, and I'm the incoming chair as well of the Monroe County Advisory Board, and was mentored all of last year by Heather Carruthers, who just left the board after years of being very helpful, making contributions to the ELC. The Monroe board, for example, just met last week, and we noticed 87 agencies in the Keys and providers and support personnel to attend. I've also invited many of our Keys, I visited many of our Keys centers during the past year, and Avelio and his staff arranged for some of our main board meetings to take place at child care centers, which we also tour. All meetings are open to the public. All agendas and minutes are available on our up-to-date website. It's very up-to-date, I checked it. Some of those who have also recently preceded me on this board are Bob Eady, the head of our health department for the Keys, and Superintendent Terry Axford, who served on the finance committee of this main board, and Stephanie Scuderi also recently just served on the main board. Some of the ELC seats are governor appointed, some private sector, and some community at large. Some are faith-based members. One is ex officio, which is Lisa Taylor, serving at the request of our superintendent to represent the superintendent, and all are term limited. Why am I volunteering to help? I just want to go swimming and pet my cats. But as a Keys career educator, I choose to continue to engage in activities that benefit our Florida Keys children and their families and the employers related to education. So I'm volunteering on the main board and chair of the Monroe County Group. I've been attending various chamber meetings in the Keys to get the word out. I was recently interviewed by State's Attorney Dennis Ward at his request on his radio show to broadcast our services. And last week, Mayor Rice sponsored me to present to the board of the Monroe County Commission at the Murray Nelson Center. And Avelio Torres also attended, as well as Angelo from Miami, so thank you. What I often hear is that many Keys government and private employers, they're just not aware of the services that are available. Likely, the pandemic has affected our in-person networking to stay current. So, from your standpoint as community and business leaders, it's really in your best interest today to be assured that stellar, high-level services are available for preschool, so so that your employees with young children in Islamorada can go back to work and feel supported and know there are services in place for their kids so they can trust, so your employees don't have to feel hesitant about placing their children while they go to work. They lose less days of work knowing that their child is not only safe, but also being provided an environment that meets high standards of care. Of course, we're here today at the Islamorada Chamber, and we especially want to support those centers within the village. But think about it. We want you to feel confident about all 37 of them because many Keys employees commute to work throughout the Keys and drop off their kids for preschool where they work, not where they live, so that they may pick them up routinely after work, or if a child gets sick, they can pick them up and so forth. Including your employees who live in Homestead or in Miami, but they work in the Keys and they bring their children to school here. When I was principal at PKS, we had an average of 110 out-of-district students, out of 600 plus students. And I'm sure Key Largo has very many as well, which is an arranged accommodation that we do to help your employees' children. So that's why we need all of these centers to go well. So our Florida Keys outreach and our borders are fluid and porous. So we have to maintain a helicopter view from mile marker 1 to mile marker 106 to make sure that all of our little learner centers have consistent high quality for your employees. Thus, the coalition. The Keys have 3 offices for ELC located in Key West, Marathon, and Key Largo, where parents can be assisted to register their child for care or find out if they qualify for subsidized care, which many do. And they can get help in English, Spanish, or I think possibly even Creole. Is that correct, Mr. Torres? Possibly Creole? All right, because we do have that necessity. There is also what is called a warm line that any Keys parent may call at any time regarding help for their young child, whether they're enrolled in a program or not. There are 37 early learning centers, 19 in the lower Keys, 6 in the middle Keys, and 12 in the upper Keys. Some are in our public and charter schools, some are faith-based, associated with Keys churches, and some are private businesses. And they've all voluntarily joined the coalition. They're not required to join it. Which means they have agreed to accept a number of support services from ELC, which may be grant monies, rescue funds, materials and supplies, professional development, coaching or training. And right now we also have an apprenticeship program. We're trying to find people who want to become daycare workers or lead daycares, and we have funding available to support their curriculum. ELC headquarters in Miami also provides all the Keys providers with a very big annual conference in the Keys. This year we have one scheduled in September, where all the providers will meet at Marathon High School on a Saturday, so they remain very well networked. They're all friends. In return, and I don't think a lot of people know all this is going on. I want you to feel happy about this. So in return for these kinds of amenities, all providers must be high standards related to, they must meet high standards related to licensing, student ratios, supervision, observation visits, credentialized staff, screening, background checks, adherence to group sizes, inspections, food preparation, and so on. Everything is very regulated. And also, of course, the learning is documented. There are corrective actions, terminations for fraud, non-compliance, expired documents, and DCF violations, all to safeguard Keys kids and your employees' children. So Florida has been also one of the few states in the USA that offers free VPK, voluntary pre-kindergarten for 4-year-olds, 9 to 12 every day, also benefiting employees. And right now, the Early Learning Coalition is advertising for contracts for summer school voluntary pre-kindergarten. for providers to help them get organized for that. So that's already all, taking place. In closing, these centers are here to support chamber employers and their employees. We are the workforce behind your workforce, so that your employees may feel comfortable dropping off their children for care and learning, and know that the centers are being supported and monitored for high standards. They're not just babysitting. I hope that you learned something new today that's of use to you for your business about the services for our littlest learners, and as an employer or an employee. So thank you. I would like to ask Avilio to please come up at this time for remarks, and we have a short presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having us here this afternoon. I won't repeat what Sandy has already mentioned, but I will say that we are just trying to work very closely with the business community. The services that we provide are not only for the young children, but also for the business owners and for the parents. We have plenty of room right now at all of our programs. We are having some challenges with teachers, recruitment and retention, but I think that goes for just about every employer. But we want to make sure that everyone in Monroe County knows that the programs are available, and that for the BTK program, any child who is 4 or 5 years old qualifies, regardless of income. We also have the school readiness program, as Sandy mentioned, that is income. The parents have to qualify based on their income. I want to remind everyone, because we all kind of tend to forget about childcare and how important it is until we have a hurricane. Schools were closed, the businesses were closed. Guess who was open? Childcare programs, because law enforcement would not have been able to get their people back on the road if we didn't have the childcare programs that remain open, so that they would have a safe and nurturing place to leave their children. So we're all reminded of that, of how important that is. We did some great work here with the business community and the school district to get our programs back online, those that were damaged, and we were able to do that. And again, we were able to help law enforcement and healthcare workers for many, many months. And it always happens after we have a natural disaster. One of the things that I wanted to mention without taking too much time is that we do have some openings on our board, 2 more board members from Monroe County and 1 governor appointed member. So we have 3 vacancies in our board. 2 of them are very specific to Monroe County. So if anyone is interested in becoming a board member, we are incorporated as a not-for-profit. We don't do any fundraising, so we're not going to ask you to, give money for a gala or a golf tournament. That is not what we do. We are a quasi-government organization, and we operate under all state statutes and administrative rules. So we function pretty much, I hate to say it, but like a government organization. We are one of the largest not-for-profits in Florida. We are, just to give you an idea, because they're your tax dollars, so you might as well know. Right now, we're managing about $380 million annually, and that's with all the federal grants in both state and federal dollars. So we are a pretty large organization. We are very structured, and we have board members that are very, very involved and engaged, and they do like what Sandy's doing, or Chuck Moore that's sitting in the back, and the rest of our board members who have been introduced here today. So if you are interested in serving as a board member of the Early Learning Coalition, we have applications that are online. You fill them out online. They are a pretty intrusive applications, because we use the same applications for governor appointments. But if you fill those applications out, we have a nominating committee that goes through the applications, and then they'll call you for a Zoom interview. And we would love to have some additional board members from Monroe County. So please consider becoming a board member of the EOC of Miami-Dade Monroe. So thank you, and we will be able to answer any questions at the end without taking much more time. We do have a recognition for Judy Hall, who has been amazing, has helped us recruit board members, is always there anytime that we call, whether it's on Zoom or in person or by phone. And I just want everyone to know that she's valuable to the chamber and to all of the chambers in Monroe, but also so important to the work that we do at the Early Learning Coalition. So Judy, we have a small token of appreciation certificate for you, and we wanted to sincerely thank you on behalf of all the children, especially from both Miami-Dade and Monroe, especially here in Monroe. And can I just say one more, just 60 more seconds? I hope that everyone knows Carlos, but if you know Carlos has been doing some great work with us in helping us promote throughout the Keys the programs that we manage. So I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Carlos for all the great work we've been doing.
In closing, I think we're on Instagram, YouTube. We have 43 videos out to parents on Facebook. So we're really working very hard proactively to let parents know about our services. Thank you, Joe Roth, for giving us time.